Locke has now been released on live servers, and he's got some of the most disgusting burst potential for any assassin. We'll have a complete rundown of what you want to build on Locke and a few tips as well to help you get started on the champ if you're looking to pick him up. And of course, we'll be taking a look at the tier list for every single role and providing you guys with all the meta updates as we reach the midway mark of 26.13. But first, a statement from SkillCapped. Over the past few weeks, we've become aware of a serious situation affecting members of our community. We've seen your comments, we've heard your concerns, and today we feel we owe you an explanation, as the reports are true. Our subscribers are climbing too fast, and we can no longer deny it. Gold, Platinum, and Emerald players reaching Diamond in record time. Diamond players finally breaking into Masters and above. And after careful consideration, we've decided to do nothing about it. Because every single day, countless SkillCapped members are hitting ranks they never thought possible. And it all starts with our Season 16 essentials for every role. Every course is designed to walk you through every stage of the game from start to finish. From learning the exact trading and recall timers you need to win in lane, to the mid-game macro mistakes 99% of players make, all the way to the team fighting tips and tricks challengers abuse to always deal the highest damage possible, and that's only the start. Take our brand new Season 16 macro and wave control courses with perfect 5-star reviews that one customer even said made his entire yearly subscription completely worthwhile. Weekly challenger commentaries where our experts walk you through exactly how to carry in your elo on your chosen champion, or even our world record jungle clears for every meta champion with the exact routes, tips, and tricks our subscribers are abusing to clear faster than ever before. And we're so confident it works, we back it all up with our rank up guarantee. Climb at least 5 divisions or get every penny back. Check it all out today using your exclusive discount in the description or pinned comment below. So for top lane in 26.13, we saw 4 champions changed, and their swings in power as a result of the changes are generally what we expected to see. Sion, Rumble, and Cassante were all nerfed, and they are now 3 of the weaker top lane champs that you can pick for solo queue. Cassante is now down around a 46% win rate, so unless you are Cassante one trick and can really take him to his limits, there are many easier champs you can play to succeed with right now. Rumble has fallen off to the point where he's now in need of a push down to the top lane C tier to join Cassante. Both Cassante and Rumble are just so susceptible to the pro play tax to where even when they aren't super good in solo queue, if they're priority picks in pro play, then they will get nerfed and suffer mightily in solo queue as a result. Zehen was the one champ who was buffed, and we moved him into the A tier for the pre-patch tier list, which looks to have been the correct decision. The buff providing him with a slight nudge in strength, but nothing too crazy, so Zehen is about middle of the pack right now relative to all other top lane champs. In regards to Locke as a top laner, he's not performing nearly as well compared to mid lane. After all, Locke is an assassin, so you're gonna run into way more favorable matchups in mid lane against squishier picks that you can outplay and burst down, whereas in top lane, it's really not favorable at all to be playing into champs who will stack resists and become tanky, as your snowball potential will be greatly limited. So we'll cover Locke more in detail when discussing mid lane, as we are going to place him in the top lane C tier for the time being. Overall though, the greater outlook on the top lane meta has not changed a significant amount for 26.13, as we still have Kayle and Malphite up in the OP tier, and nothing's changed at all in regards to the S tier picks. So we saw 3 off-meta junglers buff for this patch, being Qiyana, Olaf, and Poppy, and as we anticipated going into the patch, Poppy is the best of the bunch and the only one really worth picking up. Poppy jungle has gained around 1% win rate and is up above a 50% win rate for solo queue now, so she's not a terrible pick by any means. With Poppy being at this current power level, there is always value to having her as a champ you can pull out because of how hard she counters certain matchups. Poppy absolutely annihilates champs like Lee Sin, Graves, and Viego because her W prevents those picks from dashing forward and playing as aggressively as they'd like. With Poppy being more of a niche pick, there's a ton of value in that as well because players just won't expect the damage coming out of the champ. Skirmish of Poppy jungle is super deadly if she can line up an E and hit the stun, as the follow-up damage from Q hits super hard. So definitely a champ worth considering right now if you're looking for something different to play, as Poppy is being placed in the jungle A tier. So looking at the jungle tier list right now, the meta is in a really odd spot because we've got a lot of previously more niche picks that are dominating the meta. Even though Nasus has always been known as a top laner throughout the years, he's completely steamrolling in the jungle right now, and his win rate just keeps going up patch after patch. Nasus is literally the best performing jungler all the way up until Diamond Elo, as he does fall off a bit against better players, but for the average rank, Nasus Nasus is tracking as the most optimal solo queue pick for 26.13. It's weird because Nasus has had a really good win rate for a while now, but nobody was picking him, and then as soon as some pros start picking him up, then that grabs everyone's attention and he starts to see play. Nasus works really well for the majority of ranks because of how easy it is to be consistently impactful on him. The issue with Nasus top lane is that in certain matchups, it can be really difficult to Q stack, but when playing jungle, you are guaranteed to stack Q in every single game and become a monster in the mid game. A Nasus jungle in the mid game who's got his Q stacked and has his R available has one of the best, if not the best skirmish for any jungler right now due to how easy it is to execute and how much reliable durability and DPS you provide for your team. A few other junglers who are in similar states right now where they are really strong but just not getting noticed include Zyra, Darius, and Aatrox. All three of these picks have been higher percentile junglers for a while now, but are not seeing a ton of action, so if you want to spam a strong pick who's very unlikely to be nerfed, then Zyra, Darius, or Aatrox are three of your best bets. Locke is being picked in the jungle at a decent rate right now, but it's currently his worst performing role by a significant margin. It's about a 6% win rate gap between mid and jungle right now, so if you actually want to find the most success on Locke, then you should be playing him mid for 26.13. Maybe Riot buffs his ratios in the jungle over the next few patches, but for now, and for the sake of everyone's elo, we would recommend you stay away from him in the jungle. So the biggest talking point of 26.13 has of course been the release of the newest champion, Locke. With most new champion releases, they're going to start off holding very low win rates, so we can't really look too much into the win rate when considering Locke's power. First day of the patch, Locke's win rate has started out around 44%, which is actually not that bad at all considering some champs in the past have launched down around 40%. So as the patch progresses and players get more accustomed to the pick, we wouldn't be surprised to see Locke's win rate jump up close to 50%. We definitely think the champ is quite powerful right now, as the one-shot potential of Locke if he can land his Q charges is absolutely wild. You have 3 Q charges with Locke, and for each one you hit, it then amps the potential damage coming from your next auto. The early trading pattern is pretty simple, as you're looking to land all 3 Qs and then dive into auto attack for a massive burst. So there's definitely quite a bit of skill expression required to maximize the potential of Locke, since his Q is a skill shot and you need to land all 3 charges to unlock the most DPS. Since you are reliant on auto attacking to proc Q damage, the best rush item for Locke is Lichbane. Passive damage plus Lichbane Spellblade proc allows you to deal so much burst and gives Locke incredible assassination potential. So that passive damage hits even harder, you can pick up Shadow Flame second, and critting enemies while they are below 40% health bolsters Locke's one-shot even further. If you value a little bit more survivability and mobility into the enemy comp, then you can take Rocket Belt in place of Shadow Flame and just delay your Shadow Flame until your next purchase. So far, the most consistent keystone rune for Locke is Electrocute. We'll have to see how things develop over the next patch, but Hail of Blades and Storm Raider Surge could have potential on him as well. Right now, Electrocute is being picked the most and has by far the best win rate, so you really can't go wrong with taking it in every single game. For a couple quick tips when you first pick up Locke, don't get baited into the execute factor of Locke's R. The execute range starts at 10% max health, so it's nothing crazy, and therefore you shouldn't tunnel on using it to only finish off kills. Using your R as a combo starter is the better way to use it in most instances, as the slow is way more useful than the execute to enable you to stick onto your target. Dashing forward with E and then using R is a really easy way to catch targets out, and by proccing the slow from R, it then allows you to easily line up your Q charges, which will lead to massive passive damage. A cool trick you should know with Locke's E is that the E1 portion is similar to Echo's E2 in the sense that you can dodge CC by using it at the correct time. So for example, if Syndra is trying to use her QE stun combo on you, as soon as you see her E animation go off, you can pop your E1 to dodge the CC and then use E2 to dash onto her. In regards to Locke's tier list placement, this will be subject to change quite a bit in the coming patches, but for now, we're going to be placing him in the mid lane A tier as we think he's much better than his overall win rate suggests. So other than Locke being shipped to live servers, 26.13 for mid lane saw Cassiopeia get nerfed and LeBlanc was buffed, but it's really no surprise that neither of the changes led to significant impact. LeBlanc buffs have led to a negligible increase in power, as Riot only buffed her R damage at rank 2 and rank 3 in the spell, which doesn't help out LeBlanc a ton considering she's a champ who needs to snowball early on to be most effective. As for Cassio, her nerf landed a bit more significant, and she's being placed down in the mid lane B tier alongside LeBlanc, as they're both on the lower end of priority when it comes to mid laners right now. Vex buffs have turned her into one of the best mids that you can play for solo queue. Vex's kit just fits in so well for solo queue because of her ability to thrive in skirmishes with her reset from R, and then her matchups are amazing in solo queue where we see a ton of high mobility champs that Vex can hard counter. So Vex is placed up in the OP tier alongside Fizz and Syndra as 3 of the most optimal mid lane carries for the current meta. The big changes that were issued down in the bot lane for 26.13 were the nerfs to Senna, as she was by far the most powerful and one of the most popular ADCs during 26.12. So far, the nerfs have actually landed much lighter than anticipated. Everything was going to hinge on whether or not the static Shiv interaction with Q being removed was impactful or not, and it turns out that it really hasn't been that bad at all. Shiv is still the best best rush item on Senna ADC, and therefore it was really only the soul drop rate nerf that had a significant impact on her power. Senna did see a decent drop in win rate as it has fallen over 2%, but when you take into account that Senna was a 54% win rate champion in 26.12, a 2% drop doesn't even bring her lower than any other ADCs. So it turns out we overestimated the effects of the Senna nerfs going into the patch, as we surely thought that Riot would nerf Senna enough to where she's no longer OP tier, but that hasn't been the case, so we're pushing her back up for mid-patch. So even though Riot changed 4 different ADCs for 26.13, the patches turned out to be less eventful in terms of big meta shifts. Senna is still on top as one of the best ADCs, so she's placed back in the OP tier. Our decision to move Seraphine into the OP tier during pre-patches turned out to be a good one, as she's absolutely dominating across the board in 26.13. Upwards of a 55% win rate, which is just crazy, as it seems like every other patch for bot lane in the past few months, we have seen a broken champ. Brand, Smolder, Senna, and now Seraphine have all been up around 55% win rates at one point or another, so there's been no shortage of OP bot lane champs to play as of late. Even the Brand nerfs this patch did absolutely nothing to shift his overall standing in meta, as he remains an S tier bot lane carry. The 3 ADCs who got buffed for this patch have barely seen a boost in relative power, as we continue to rate Aphelios, Draven, and Kai'Sa lower down the tier list. We were optimistic that the Aphelios buffs would help to push him into an A tier standing, but the changes have been slightly less impactful than we had hoped, so he's back down in the B tier. So all in all, Senna remains your best traditional attack-based ADC that you can play right now, and then Seraphine is far and beyond the most broken mage for bot, and arguably the most OP champ in the entire game right now, so if you really want some free elo, then Seraphine is where it's at. For support in 26.13, we saw changes to Senna, Brand, and Bard, and here's how they've played out. Senna changes did absolutely nothing to influence her overall strength in the meta, so she's still an S tier support. We thought that Static Shiv may fall out of meta on Senna because of the Q interaction being removed. However, that has not been the case, so it's still Cleaver into Shiv as your build on Senna support. If you're a Brand support main, then it really sucks because he remains a great bot lane carry after the nerfs, but is now struggling to find success as a support. Losing 1% win rate for bot lane Brand when he's already 54% doesn't even matter, but losing 1% when you're already sub 50% as a support is a lot more meaningful. So despite Brand being an S tier bot lane carry, we have placed him in the B tier for support in 26.13. And then in regards to the Bard nerfs, he has fallen off a bit more than expected. We were hoping that the nerfs wouldn't hit hard enough so that Bard could hold on to his A tier ranking, but seeing how the nerfs have landed, we have to drop Bard down into the B tier. Nerfs have landed to the tune of around a 1.5% loss in win rate for Bard, so they've definitely taken a good chunk of relative power away. So Seraphine is going to remain as the lone OP tier support, as she's currently outclassing everyone else and got even better this patch due to the Imperial Mandate buffs. But while lists like these show you what to play, our brand new Season 16 Essentials courses for every role teach you how to win, each designed to walk you through every stage of the game from start to finish, from the exact trading and recall timers you need to win lane, to the mid-game macro decisions 99% of players get completely wrong, all the way to the team fighting tips and tricks challengers abuse to always deal the highest damage possible. Whether you're a top laner in the most unfavorable matchup possible, a mid laner having to deal with everybody in your lane 24/7, a jungler trying to balance ganking with farming, an ADC stuck trying to hard carry with a support who just exists to grief you, or a support that's struggling to carry games on your own. Our Essentials courses are tailor-made to focus on the exact concepts that actually matter for climbing on your role in your elo. Check them out today, completely risk-free, using the link in the pinned comment or description below, as if you don't climb at least 5 divisions, you get every penny back. So that's gonna wrap everything up for the 26.13 mid-patch tier list update. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.